Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yeah, so today, yesterday's program which I had covered, I will try to execute it and I will explain it once again since many of them had not joined yesterday. There was some problem from my side as well. Anyways, so here, yesterday I explained you normal frame, which is part of AWT package. But now today I thought of covering J frame itself, that is swing. Theoretically, we have understood what is the difference between swing and AWT package. Swings are the enhanced components as well as they are lightweight. Lightweight means they are not platform dependent, they are platform independent components. So anyway, we are for our syllabus we have all swing components, and we have also seen the list of swing components. All the swing components are similar to AWT package components, except for the changes they are enhanced in their visibility and properties, and also the names of all swing components begin with J. So as you have frame in AWT, here you have J frame. You have applet in AWT, here you have J applet. In AWT you have button, here you have J button, etc. So let us see what is required for this swing. So this is our first swing program. Initially, I'll explain you the simple program, then the ideal program which is given in your textbook, which has some complicated concepts. Hence, I thought of making this program simple. So first, let us understand the simple program and also working of frame. Frame, instead of learning frame, I thought of teaching you directly J frame, which is a swing component. Anyway, so this first line package VK swing, this is automatically generated in NetBeans because here in left side, as you can see in this left pane, I have VK swing as a package created here. Can you see? I have highlighted that in the left side. And then in that package, I am creating all these classes. Fine, all your first and second unit classes I have created here. So this is swing, and in that the very simple program I have created, which is of a blank frame. Blank in the sense, as we had blank applet, just a square interface window was displayed. Similarly, for the frame also, I am going to display you a simple frame. But displaying frame is not, I mean, small code as we create applet. Here we need to set the some of the properties because by default frame has uh, visibility as false. Frame's visibility is turned to false. That is, it is not visible. We have to make it visible, and also we have to set other properties. Yesterday, as I discussed, we have to set some of the properties of frame as size, and then so that can be set by the method called as set size. The set size method is also available in frames as well as in our swing package. So set size method has got two parameters. First is width and second is height. Then there is set visible, which accepts one Boolean parameter, either true and false. Once I set it to true, your frame will be visible. If you set it to false, your frame will not be visible. Then there is setting the layout. By default, I mean, the frames. To display anything on the frame, you require layout to be set. If you want to follow the default layout, then you can say default layout was, or you can even say null. Null means automatically Java will take the default layout. Then this fourth line, I'll explain you why I have taken this. Fine. So let me explain the program once again. Here I have a package statement which is automatically generated because I have created my program in the package VK Swing. How do I create that? I right click on my package and I say new Java class. This is how I created my program. Then I have taken AWT I have imported, and then because my program is Swing program, I hope I am audible clearly to all.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because net was fluctuating initially. Um, Now, any Swing program we create by importing this javax.swing package. And in that you could say asterisk so that all the component, all the classes in that package are imported at a time. Uh, so import javax.swing.star. You do that so that all the Swing components are inherited or imported. Now here, to create a frame, there are two ways. One is you can extend JFrame or you can create instance of it. I thought of creating instance of it because that will be easier here. So now I have created a simple class called as first FR. FR stands for frame here. Then here, whatever designing part we do, that is done in the constructor. So that whenever you have to create a frame, this your class, that is the window, output window of this program itself becomes a frame, isn't it? So this frame will get initialized at the time of object creation. Okay, let me repeat one more point which I covered yesterday. As you all know, Java creates two types of programs. One is application and second is applet. Uh, for applets, we require applet as GUI interface, and that is graphical user interface. For application means offline applications. For applications, we make use of frames as the interface. So what is the main difference between applet and applications? There are, last semester we have seen one of the main differences, all Java programs start their execution from the main method, right? So all the applications will have main method, whereas applets do not have main method. Applets are initialized by the init method. Fine, and they carry on display through the paint method, a graphics class. Applications always require main method, remember. So whenever you have to create application, you have to use frame, and then you also have to include main method in your class. So my frame is part of this class first FR, and I'm going to make the output of this on the frame. So what I do is inside the constructor, I create my frame instance. Okay. So let us see. First, FR is a constructor. What all we do in construction? First of all, I am creating one frame on the output window. So instead of creating normal frame, I have taken J frame. Why? Because J frame has got some advanced properties here. Fine. So J frame, how do you create object? That is normal. You take a class name, object name equal to new class name. Whenever you create a frame, it takes one parameter which is not compulsory, but it is better to give. This name will be used on the display, that is on the title bar of the output window. So what is the title of my frame here? First frame. I have given it as first frame. So this is how I created instance of JFrame. How did I create? JFrame F, new JFrame, and on the title bar we are going to display first frame. Name of my frame is frame instance is F. So now before I display frame, I have to set its properties. As I told you, I have to set its size, visibility, layout, etc. So first let me set the size. So using this instance F, I am going to use set size method, and I have set it to 300 as width and 300 as height. Then I have set the frame's visibility to true. I made it visible. Then F dot set layout equal to null, so that it will use default layout. Right now this layout will not be useful to me because layout, what is layout? Layout is defining the arrangement of components on the interface. Right now my frame is blank. I don't have any components to place on that. So I have set the layout to null. Then last statement, it is for closing operation of the frame. What happens is if I don't include this line, then even if I try to close the frame window, it will keep running. Let me show you what happens if I just cut this, then you will understand its importance. So these three things are clear to you, 4 lines. First I created frame, then I've set its size, then I've set its visibility, and then I've set its layout to null. So my constructor is over here. After that, I start main method, public static void main string args. Inside the main method, I create my class object. So until unless I initialize my class, it will not create the frame. So the object of my class name is first fr, object is fobj equal to new first fr. So this is how I created. The moment object gets created, it will call the constructor and that designing will happen. And then we will be able to see the frame. So let us run this. Can you see on the left side the frame? See, I'm dragging it. You can see on the title bar, the name of the frame is first frame. What we have defined is being displayed. Whatever you write here, that will be displayed on the frame window. So this is 300 pixel wide and 300 pixel height. So now, if I close this, see, because there is nothing to be done on this frame. Is this frame visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So once I close this, even though I close here, the termination doesn't happen. Can you see here? Let me show you by annotations. See here, this part of the window. What it shows, even if I closed, still that class is still running. It will not terminate its execution. If I want that once I close the frame window, automatically this execution should stop. Because if it keeps running, then it might create problem for other execution. So if I want that, then I have to include that line which I have cut. What is that line? I will show you. Okay. Right now, since I have not included, what I will have to do? I will have to click here and exclusively I will have to cancel the execution. This thing I will have to do every time I execute it to stop the execution. So that's why this line, which was that line, it is set default to close operation. So what is the default to close operation of the frame? So there are various options for closing this. I will explain other options to you later when we will see the next program. But right now, there is one option for the So right now, what I have done is I have used exit on close. So there are various constants. So this is one of the constants which is defined in JFrame class. Fine. It is the constant defined in JFrames. So, and it is a class variable. So I will have to use the class name to call that constant also. So on closing my frame, what I want to do, I want to exit on close. That means I want to exit through of the execution. Fine. So this is the syntax as it is. You will have to use for every frame program. F dot set default close operation and in bracket J frame dot exit on close. The moment you type, see on NetBeans, it is not very difficult. The moment you type, automatically this will be displayed. All these constants will be displayed. Fine. So what happens after I use this? So let me run the program once again. And for the demo, let me change first frame. Here I'll change it to my first frame. Okay. Now I'll run this. See, can you see this window? It is changed to my first frame, and then now frame is visible to you. When I'll close this, now it has also stopped execution. Can you see here? I had shown you in the last execution here that instance was still running. Now it is completed and you also get this message. Total time is 10 seconds. If you don't include this exit on close, then that application will keep on running and exclusively you will have to close it. I hope simple frame is easy. I mean, it is, uh, everybody has understood. Yes. Okay, now let us go ahead with your textbook syllabus. This I just thought of explaining it to you because textbook program directly, if we take it, might confuse you a little bit. Okay. Okay. In the textbook, the program what they have given is, it is also going to handle the event. Okay. Check. So all of you know event handling in AWT. We have already seen. Now, with respect to this swing, what is the difference in AWT and swing here? I mean, in execution and in writing the program, only thing we'll have to import swing package and we will have to use swing components. That's all, which start with J, alphabet J. Okay, other things will be same. Now, first, let us see what is this output we are trying to generate through this program. Okay, so here we have a program. Okay, one sec. Okay. Before we proceed with that program which I have created of event handling, let me cover one more simple program. Fine, from the textbook. So here this program again creates a simple frame. See here. It is with a label. What do you see on the output? Here you have only label which displays swing means powerful GUIs. A sample swing application. Fine. So it is an application. It is not applet. Fine. So let us see how we have created this frame or this application. So a simple swing application. Then we have imported javax.swing. We have class swing demo. Now what is this line? Can anyone of you answer? What is this line?
Constructor.
Constructor.
Constructor. Okay. What is this line going to do?
Object forming.
It is creating a frame, object of J frame. That means we are creating a new frame with the title, a simple swing application. Fine. So the name of my object is JFRM here. Remember. Fine. Now, what I'm doing here, already comments are given. We are setting the frame's initial size to 275 width and 100 as height. So it is going to look like a rectangle here. Fine, which is more wide and less high. Now let us see the next line. Why is this line? What will happen if I don't include this line?
Will keep on running.
Yeah, it will keep on running. Okay. Now I am trying to create a label. We have already created normal label in our previous programs. Now I am just, what is the change here? We are creating J label. J label is similar to label, but it is just a swing component. Fine. So we started with J label. So this is J and L, both are uppercase here. And then the name of my label is JLAB. It's not jalebi, it is JLAB. Fine. Just to indicate that it is J and label ke liye the name used is LAB. Now, whenever we create label, you know that we display something on the label. Swing means powerful GUIs. So on the label, we are displaying this message. Whatever we want, we can display. Now, once I create the label, I have to add that label on the frame. So how do I add? I use frame object, that is F or JFRM dot add method. What I am adding here? That label which I have created, I am adding it on the frame. And then the frame should be made visible. Of course, the sequence doesn't matter. Even if you make it visible to true in the initial part, that also is fine. Before you add, you set all the frame properties together. That also can be done. So JFRM set visible equal to 2. Remember, if I don't set it to true, my frame will not be visible. Now, in the public static void main, in my program, what I had created, I had just created one new object or new instance of my class. What is the class name here? Swing demo. So I could have said swing demo obj equal to new swing demo. Instead of that, here, yeah. So, okay. What is this? Let me tell you. Please concentrate because it is little complex. Now everybody remembers threads. Everyone remembers threads.
Yes, ma'am.
What is thread?
A small part of
a process.
Yeah, small part of execution, a part of program which is there in execution. Program can be divided into small processes. Fine. So why multi-threading helps basically? One thing is multi-threading helps in faster execution of the program, and second is because of multi-threading, what happens is if one part of the program execution is little risky, if it is likely to create some exceptions which are risky, in that case it is always better to take it on a separate thread. Why? Because if we keep it together, then the entire program will stop working. When we take it on separate thread, that can be handled separately through some exception handling. Similarly, remember, swings are high level components, and those swings should be handled. It is better they should be handled or they should be executed on one special thread called as event dispatching thread. There is one special thread called as event dispatching thread, and that event dispatching thread can be created. Fine, can be created by one method. There are two methods, in fact. One is invoke later and second is invoke and wait. So let me highlight and show you. Now tell me why I'm using this invoke later to create event dispatching thread. Why is this event dispatching thread required? Because if something happens in dynamic execution of this thread, of this particular event, then it should be handled separately. And since swings are little high level components, that's why they are programmed or they are recommended to be executed on this special thread called as event dispatching thread. Event dispatching thread can be created by two methods that belong to one class called as swing utilities. Along with Swing, whatever utilities, extra facilities are provided. Those programming tools are given in this Swing utilities class. And in this Swing utilities class, there are two methods. One is invoke later and second is invoke and wait. Which is the second method? Invoke and wait. So invoke later and invoke and wait. These two methods can be used to create my event dispatching thread. Now, one more recollection. When I call this invoke later, a new thread will get created. Now, can you tell me what are the two ways by which we create thread? How do we create thread? Last semester we have learned. What is one method? Okay, I will take
thread class.
Extend
From
thread
thread class.
And what is the second method?
Implementing runnable interface.
Yes, very good. Implement runnable interface. Now, how we used to do? Suppose if I have to create my class, I used to say class A. Suppose my class name is A, and I used to say implement runnable. Now, whatever this creates one thread. Now, whatever the thread has to execute, where you used to keep that code, in which method? Every thread contains a method which should be, inside that method, we should write a code that should be executed by the thread.
Run method.
Very good. So whenever we want a thread to execute certain statements, we have to have run method, and that run method will contain the code which that thread has to execute. So earlier we had created this class and we had overridden this run method. And overriding the run method means writing a body and writing the statements in that. Now, okay, is this clear? Till here, everything is clear to you, or anyone has a doubt? Yes, this concept is clear to you, thread concept. Okay, now tell me, if I want to avoid this creation of a class, see what is runnable here? It is an interface. Runnable is an interface which has a method which needs to be overridden, which can be created without naming this class by using anonymous class. Do you all remember what we learned in our first chapter? Anonymous inner classes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So how do we create anonymous inner class?
By using flower bracket.
Yeah. And at the time of instantiating the interfaces which we want, instantiating the class or the interface which we want to inherit or implement. Normally, what do? We create a class that implements, and then we override this method, and then we create object of this class to call this run method. Instead of that, directly we can try instantiating this interface, which is otherwise not possible. But through anonymous inner class, we can try instantiating. Instantiating means we are trying to create a reference of this. How do we create? Let me tell you. See, we are trying to create it here. I'm underlining that part in my program. So what am I doing here? What am I trying to do? New runnable means I'm trying to create an, yes, I'm trying to create instance of the runnable. See, remember here, and immediately after that there is no semicolon. I have given what? What is this?
Anonymous inner class.
Yeah, so here I have created flower bracket. That means it is as good as I have written these two lines. Class A implements runnable. Only difference is I have not named my class. but I have created a class just by using a bracket here and by using this instance. Remember, anonymous inner classes are created at the time of instantiation of a parent class. So instead of creating a child class, naming it, and then overriding the method which is given by the parent, directly I can create anonymous inner class and I can override the method which is given by my parent. So parent class here is runnable, which I want to use to create a new thread. So I'm creating that new thread here directly inside this invoke later method by saying new runnable. And before I close the semicolon here, because I'm not finishing my instantiation, I'm doing it for anonymous inner class. So my anonymous inner class definition starts here, inside which I want to override the method run. Okay. I'm using the method run here and I'm providing a body to that. What I want to do in the run method, I'm just creating a new object here. See, actually in my earlier program, I had created object of my class complete like this, frame of far equal to. So here what is my class name? Swing demo. So I could have said swing demo obj equal to new swing demo. So that object anyway, I'm not using to call any of the method. Directly, I'm just going to say new swing demo. The moment I say new swing demo, what happens? The constructor will get called. Now that constructor will automatically get called and then it will create a frame with a label on it. That's all. So this thing, instead of doing it directly inside the main method, where the main thread starts execution, instead of using the main thread, what I'm doing here, I'm creating a special thread called as event dispatching thread. How am I creating it? Using the method invoke later, which is defined in the class swing utilities. So when I create a thread, I'm making use of runnable interface here. And that runnable interface, actually I have to override the run method. Inside run method, I would have written this code, but then here I am just creating a new reference so that automatically this constructor gets called, and whatever definition I want to do, I have done it in the constructor. So actually the execution starts from this part. When it reaches here, new swing demo, it goes up and it executes this above part of the program. And this is how my frame will be visible. Yes, clear? Now remember this part of the main method, that is creation of event dispatching thread and anonymous inner class, you have to fit in your brains, because most of the programs in this chapter, whatever we are doing, all main methods have the same format. See, the format will be same. We will be creating a constructor of the class, and that constructor will have all the definitions. And here in the main method, we will be creating event dispatching thread. And inside the run method, we are just going to create instance of the class. This is the common format we are going to follow in all our programs. This is because our textbooks has given this kind of program, and it's better we stick to textbook. And also it is most recommended. Why it is required to execute it on event dispatching thread? Because it is risky to use the main thread. It is better to execute it on a separate special thread called as event dispatching thread. One more thing, to execute frames, we make use of invoke later, and to execute applets, we make use of invoke and wait method. Clear? So we will also see one of the applet program, which is similar. Same program we will cover, which uses applet. Okay. So now the time is up. So all of you, please give your attendance.
असं लात घालतो पण इथे तुझे अटेंडन्स घालतोय वाचूच येता